This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
Very good evening to you guys and gals, wherever you are watching in the world tonight. It's Monday night again. We had Monday night last week after the Baggies game. We were playing... we were playing, wasn't we? Chelsea yesterday, and we've already, as I've just switched on, there's already well over 100 of you waiting for the show to start. So I'm sorry we're a little bit late. We are going to be, as always, splitting this into two halves this week. And we, all being well, we might have a little special guest as well that will be dropping in from an FA event during the show. So make sure you stay switched on for that as well. Hopefully they'll be able to join us. Of course, we're going to be chewing the fat, delving into what was a sensational victory away at Stamford Bridge. Wolves' first victory over Chelsea at Stamford Bridge since 1979. I think it's also Wolves' first double since the home and away since the 74-75 season. And that, I think we've also beaten Chelsea now 3 games in a row. And on top of that, I think it's Matheus Cunha gets the first ever Wolves hat-trick by any player away from Molineux in the Premier League. Tell me if I've got that wrong. But we're going to get kicking. First of all, we've got great fans and pundits coming on throughout the show, but we're kicking off. I know he's not been here for a little while, and you've been like, when's Manny coming back on? But he is. He's back. How you doing, mate?
We're back, yes. I'm doing great, mate. It's been a shame not to be on. I've been really busy, Dave, and I've had to miss a few things, and I've been away. And but I have been listening, and I've been watching the comments, and I thank all the people who've been asking me, where are you? You're not on the... So I'm here now. So let's go.
Manny, I know you're in Northampton tomorrow because you are live on stage.
Man, don't tell everybody. No, I actually, it's not like that. I am in a hotel room. This is not me live with a bedroom. Who's got Manny with a bedroom? No, I am in a hotel room because the next 2 days I'm in a theatre in Northampton presenting like railway safety to children, primary school children. So we're doing like a theatre event. Makes it special for the kids to come out of school and watch it in that type of environment. So yeah, we're there for the next 2 days. It should be really good fun.
That's fantastic because that's why you're stopping over thing. And we do appreciate the fact that you have dropped a little bit of a scarf on the bed right there for a little bit of a backdrop for us as well.
You know what? I thought, how can I make it homely? So I just got the scarf out of the car, shoved it. That's like top effort. That's top effort from me, that is.
It's top thing. And Manny, so the reason you've not been on is because you've been over to India.
Yeah.
And also last week, obviously, you pretty much go home and away with most of the games when you can, but obviously your faith takes priority over everything. And you had a big festival, didn't you, last Sunday?
Yeah, we have like one really major one it's always the last weekend of January, a huge one that we plan for the whole year. And then when the cup match came out and you knew it was going to be on the weekend, I was like, the Baggies. When we knew it was going to be like a stupid midday kickoff and that, so there was just no way. Not only could I not go there, I couldn't even watch it. I was that busy. So I had to watch it later on. Obviously, I got notifications and it was an easy, comfortable win, let's be honest, even though they huffed and puffed a little bit. So, they're rivals as in they're local, but they're not rivals in footballing wise. They're bloody streets behind, let's be honest.
They are, absolutely. And we will, of course, be talking to Manny not only about the game, but we will be looking forward to the madness that will start in about 3 weeks' time when, as if it weren't bad enough walking. I was thinking about you yesterday, actually, mate, when we got to Chelsea, about you walking into Chelsea and we were there to support you as you come, and the emotion after that. And that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah,
I said to you then, I said, okay, give you a few weeks. You decided to walk uphill this time to Newcastle. So we'll be coming on to that as well, and how you get involved and how people can support and donate. But also tonight, joining on the first part of the show, we do have Cheerful Chris. And, you know, he gets the nickname Cheerful Chris because he can be a bit grumpy at times. So we give him Cheerful Chris. You've got to be cheerful tonight, haven't you, mate?
I'd describe tonight as normal. I wouldn't say I'm overflowing with joy, but I'm normal tonight, which is
well, Dave, it's Operation Let's Cheer Chris Up. Operation everybody, let's cheer Chris up.
We have to try and cheer you up. Now, before we get stuck into everything, of course, I do need to say a big, massive thank you to the wonderful people over at Creation Wolf for powering extra time. They deliver the industry's latest and most advanced digital solutions, and they take your brand and online presence and digital capabilities to the next level. There's their website there. The link's in the description below. I know there's a few of you that have. I think there's a couple of companies already that they're helping as well. Now, listen, just before we get started into the Chelsea game, we do have our surprise guest. So let's kick your heels up and wait for this. I'm just going to change the backdrop to a nice little Molyneux. There we go. Hold on, let me change a different backdrop if I can. There we go. We'll go with that. Because we've got to make room for this young man who's absolutely doing a fantastic job with Wolves women.
Macca,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Mate, absolutely fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining. You are... I mean, you've got my T-shirt on there, ain't you, DM? Because my surname's an M as well. It's like, I can borrow that off you. You're at an FA event, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm online at the minute. Yeah, so I've muted it, turned the camera off, and then obviously this takes priority with these
more important.
This is
more important.
Are you able to turn your phone round to landscape for us?
There you go.
That work.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Now, here you go. Look, people saying hi, Macca, as well to you already. So there's already, Macca, just to let you know, there's already over 200 people watching live as we talk from around the world. Oh, right. Guys, let Macca know where you are. Here's one. Jerry Gambone's watching from the Philippines. It's 4:26 in the morning. Where he is.
Go to bed, Jerry. Go to bed.
I've asked Macca to come on because it's important here on Always Wolves. We talk about a lot about the men's game, but it's important to talk about Wolves women as well. And we do talk about Wolves women, but they have an absolutely massive game next Sunday. This Sunday coming up, which is actually going to be at Telford, and they are going to be playing a WSL team in Brighton and Hove Albion. I can't actually believe that we've drawn Brighton at home in the FA Cup for both the women's and the men's in the last 16. And I thought it's very important to get Macca on because I want to try and encourage as many people to try and get down next Sunday if they can to support the girls, Macca. And are they looking forward to that?
Yeah, no, it's obviously hugely exciting, Mike. Obviously, it was West Ham that we hosted last year.
We played well as well, but I think for about 70 minutes, 65 minutes, it was 0-0, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a great crowd. I think it was the third highest crowd on the day as well that day.
Yeah, 67th minute it was. I know I can remember it well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, girls are really excited, mate. They're looking forward to it. As I said, the fourth round last year with West Ham, and then obviously to go one better this year and get to the fifth round and draw Brighton again is another fantastic memory for them. So we're looking forward to it. It's a welcome break from what's been a difficult start to the league since the turn of the year. We obviously had a tough result up at Newcastle this weekend. It was a fantastic Newcastle team, I've got to admit. But we turn our attention to this, and hopefully we can get plenty in there to make it a memorable occasion. And listen, it's not just about making an occasion out of it. We want to give a good account of ourselves. You know, the plaudits that the girls rightly got last year off the back of the West Ham result were well deserved, and they want to do that again. So hopefully we'll see some new faces down there come Sunday.
Yeah, what is the record attendance down at Telford? What do you know roughly what it is?
I think with regards to Wolves women, I think it was the 1700 at the West Ham game.
Wow.
So it was a really good turnout. As I said, it was a fantastic occasion, and you know that we can get the same numbers down there again. We found out that the crowd can very much play a big part in the fixtures, as we did when there was 3,500 Geordies singing as the girls walked onto the pitch yesterday. So if we can get anywhere near the numbers we did at West Ham, you know, it will be a huge help in what will be a difficult fixture anyway. Yeah,
that's great. I'm just going to throw a couple of questions open to Manny and then Chris. If there's anything like you guys just want to ask Macca whilst he's on, I've got a couple of questions for you in a bit, mate. Hopefully we've got you for about 10 minutes before you have to shoot off.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Matt, I just want to, you know what, first of all, I've been to quite a few games in the last 4 years. I actually haven't seen, believe it or not, I've never seen the Wolves women lose when I've been. And I am coming to that game, right? And even though it's a 1 o'clock kickoff, I can't believe that because I struggle to make the 2 o'clock ones, but we have made it special. And I just want to say something because obviously I'm doing this walk to Chelsea. I was approached by
Newcastle.
Yes. Oh, yeah, man, I'm all over the place. Walk to Newcastle, right? And I was approached by a fan who said he would give me a sizable donation for the shirt of Tammy George. And Dan messaged me a couple of weeks ago and said, Tammy's shirt that she'll be wearing at the FA Cup final, she's going to donate towards the walk to Newcastle.
I'm loving that confidence. FA Cup final.
Yeah, FA Cup, oh, man. FA Cup, yeah, FA Cup. It is, it's a final. It's our final, man. The next match is our final. So she's donating that. It's a bespoke shirt. And I'm pleased to say it's raised £600, which for a women's shirt, I've trawled the internet, Macca. For a women's shirt, I can't, even the England players' shirts, you know, the England team, the Lionesses, don't go for that much. So he's paying £600 for Tammy George's shirt. He's going to be there on the day as well. I've told Tammy, and we could do a little bit of a presentation or something, you know, and just have a bit of a picture because it's amazing that he's done that. And it's also testament to, you know, women's football. It's here and it plays a huge part and people are willing to spend that much money on memorabilia that the girls wear in that level of football, you know. And so brilliant, you know, and thank you to Tammy, obviously, and Macca as well for sorting that out.
They're top in Tammy as well, so that's fantastic. Chris, have you got a question for Macca or something you want to ask?
Yeah, I have some Macca. I sit on the Wolves 1877 Trust Board, and we've had a few chats about the Wolves women's side, and particularly some debate in our Discord about playing matches at Molyneux and playing matches at Telford. And some fans seem to want them at Molyneux. I live in Telford, so I don't want them in Telford. I just think the team like the atmosphere better at Telford. They seem to play well under that atmosphere at Telford. What's your thoughts on where the game should be played? Because there's quite a bit of debate about it.
Yeah, listen, I think the girls who wouldn't love playing at Molyneux, you know, it's an unbelievable stadium. It's one of my favourites, you know. As a massive football fan, I think it's just got a great feel about the place, hasn't it? It's old school. But when we're talking about certainly heading into games of this magnitude, we want to try and keep our home comforts because ultimately, if we do play at Molyneux, I know it sounds silly, but it's like an away game for us. You know, the size of the pitch, we don't get accustomed to that. We don't get accustomed to even like it's like a carpet. You know, some would say we enjoy the bobble on Telford, even though that pitch is outstanding in its own right. So I think there just has to be a little bit of consistency. So as I said, there'd be nothing more than, you know, in a couple of years' time, hopefully we can progress up the leagues and we play a certain amount of fixtures at Molyneux. I know the girls would welcome it, the fans would welcome it. But I think we've also got to understand that the transition to the Bucks Head, it opened up a new fan base for us. So not only did the AFC fan base follow us, we also opened up a real new network of fans and young generation females and males who have started to follow us now, and we're regularly getting 500-600 people down there. So on top of the home comforts that they'll have this weekend to help them through a difficult fixture, it's also, we've got to try and be fair to the fan base who follow us week in, week out, and moving the big ones as such to Molyneux kind of, a little bit unfair on does that make sense? Even though
this is what the topic's been. This is why has it gone back to Wolves? They do well at the Bucks Head, that sort of thing. Yeah. So I get it's to try and get people from local Wolverhampton in and see and try and get to the game, but you're used to the crown on that pitch now, aren't you? I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. So
I explained to Dave when he first went about that crown on the sidelines. Nightmare.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I think, to be fair, I mean, I know there was a few people that talked about when you move from AFC Wolverhamptonians, but the facilities for the girls are probably at Telford a lot better than AFC is and Wolverhamptonians. I know it's a bit out of town and stuff like that, but in terms of the facilities on the day and what they can do and what you've got there, the infrastructure, it's a different level, isn't it, for them?
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right there. I think ultimately myself and the girls and the club, we want to play in the Championship, and we want that transition into the Championship when it eventually happens to be quite smooth. And AFC doesn't offer the facilities to get to that level. It's the small things and the details that sometimes fans don't think about. You've got to have your separate drug doping rooms. You've got to have certain amount of gantry for certain filming and all this kind of stuff. So, listen, we'd love to have remained in the city. Ultimately, we're Wolverhampton women, and we wanted to remain in the city. But there's very few and far between grounds that are at the level that could see that smooth transition into the Championship. So listen, Telford's fantastic. We're probably blessed with one of the best stadiums in the Championship before we even get there. Never mind the Super League. I think we probably touch a couple of the Super League grounds as well, to be fair. But it's fantastic for us to get that opportunity at Tier 3. And the only problem is when we do bring the teams from Tier 3 to Telford, it raises their game 20% as well because of the facilities and everything that come with it. So. No, fantastic. I know the girls are happy there, and hopefully, as I said, we can continue to do well and progress up the pyramid.
Guys in the chat, if you've got any questions for Maka whilst we've got him on, just drop it there.
I've got another one, Dave, if you want me to.
Yeah, cheerful, and we call him cheerful because he's usually very grumpy, Maka. But I have got a question for you as well, and Manny, one more for you as well.
Yeah.
But go first. Chris.
So, Maka, obviously, I work for a defence contractor, so I obviously know your work and you're serving air. I think politically you're an air person now, or is it? But how do you balance your obviously military commitments now with? Because I know you had a period where you were doing something through work and couldn't do, but how does that look in the future, and how supportive of the RAF been with it?
Yeah, listen, I owe the RAF a lot for the platform that they've given me to achieve with Wolves. It's not been easy at times, and the last 6 years there has been some real challenges, and the one that you're talking about there was when I had to watch the playoff final from the Falkland Islands. Now that's bad enough as it is, but watching it 8 minutes behind normal time made it even worse. Especially
you didn't cuddle the penguin, did you? Didn't cuddle the penguin, did you?
Yeah, well, it made it worse that my goalkeeper coach can't keep his mouth shut, so I was getting told everything 8 minutes before it happened, and then watching it 8 minutes later. But no, listen, as we progress, we things have to change. I don't want to say too much as yet, but over the last sort of 48 hours, I've had some real positives with regards to my commitments to Wolves and the commitments to the RAF. Again, huge thanks to the military for what will come out in the coming months, hopefully. And as I said, it's hopefully those commitments can start to pay big dividends with regards to the girls and the impact we're having on them and the development of the club. Because, as I said, there's a huge ambition of mine to get up the leagues. I want to work in the league personally, but over the last 6 years, I've formed a real attachment with this football club, and I don't really want to go anywhere else. I want to see Wolves into the championship. So hopefully we can do that.
Well, my question is going to be a little bit to do with that, but Manny, I think you've
I just obviously this season back, it's been. I think we've had quite a tough spell. The girls have. I had to stick together a little bit. You had Ellie Wilson, Olivia Ferguson, Will Merrick, lots of players obviously coming in. I remember, when you first came up through the leagues and you made the jump and you got to the top of the league, you did have quite a settled side back then. I think it sort of, you had a select amount of players and it sort of picked itself, and now you've brought in a lot. So what is this? Is this down to the strength of the opposition? Is it just, it takes time for new players to come in and bed and follow your instructions?
I think ultimately, Manny, I think it's a massive positive, which has turned into a massive negative for Wolves. And the positive is that the women's game has grown so much over the last few years. We're now seeing Newcastle United run a full-time women's programme where the women are full-time athletes alongside 10, 12 staff members. And the club have massively financed that. And the same at Nottingham Forest now. Forest are on a hybrid system, so they have a set amount of full-time players and full-time staff, and the same as Burnley. So that's the huge positive in the fact that the women's game's grown that much. This is happening in the third tier now. Now, the negative to that is Wolves aren't in a position as yet to start competing with that kind of level. So, yes.
Is there a future for that to happen?
Say again, Manny?
Is there something there? Is there dialogue going on where you see these teams progressing and you want to get there as well?
Yeah. Well, listen, I've always said, Manny, that I'll always remain at the football club as long as the ambition's there, and I've yet to see the ambition run out as such. So I'm still hopeful, but ultimately we can't compete at the minute with not just the finances, because it's the players that are coming in. We can't compete, so we've got to try and use all the other resources and the great facilities that Wolves give us to try and stay in touch with those people at the top of the league. And there's no truer word spoken than, as we said yesterday, we got back on the bus quite disappointed, and the whole squad. Perks is back in work today. I was back in teaching this morning, whereas Newcastle have got a recovery day to look forward to today. So we're up against it, mate. We're up against it, and ultimately we need that next level now to sort of kick on and try and be competitive again.
Well, Maka, this is the question that I was going to ask, actually, because, to me, Wolves have invested in esports, they've invested in fashion and music and stuff like that to grow the brand. We see the WSL brand and the England Lionesses growing the women's game. And to me, investment into the women's team helps grow Wolves' brand. And I worry that if they don't match and keep up with the likes of Newcastle and Burnley and Forest, you're at a disadvantage, and you're wanting to go up. I remember when Coventry went up a couple of years ago to the Championship, and then they didn't, the girls couldn't go full time. And I know we picked up a few girls and a few women from Coventry, but when you do go up, because they've got jobs, they need to be, to keep your squad and keep developing. They need to be, to me, paid properly as a full-time athlete. And there's been various conversations around this, that a lot of the fans do believe Wolves should be investing more into Wolves women in terms of actually paying the players so that you can go up, because you've seen Newcastle, like you say, have gone fully professional. You're up against a fully professional Brighton side at the weekend. Nottingham Forest have gone fully professional. Burnley are, pretty much going that way. Can you see that Wolves can go that? And I don't understand why Wolves haven't already gone that way, because to me, you're only talking about an extra £1 million a year into the women from all the finances that are going that can enable you to do that. and that brings in more fans, more revenue, grows the brand better, and Wolves get that sort of exposure in the women's game as well, because other teams are, like you say, are catching up and almost, because they're investing, they're going past you, and that's not your fault because you're on the you can only deal with what you can deal with in terms of your budgets.
Yeah, I think the first thing to say on that subject is we are massively thankful for what the club do give us in regards to the facility. So the facilities and the resources and the medical care and everything around the football club that the girls get access to is unrivaled. It has been for the last 2 or 3 years. It's unrivaled, and I think
you can train at Compton, can't you? And you use down there now as well.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. The things that don't happen in the women's game, they do happen at Wolves. So that we do get a very good package in a different sense. So I think we're massively thankful for what the football club have done, and I don't think it's sort of anybody's fault. It's just the speed in which the game has grown now. We've always wanted to create something that was sustainable. I don't want my time to come to the end at whatever point that will be, and because there's so much money involved, everything falls apart. So we have always talked about whatever we do create at Wolves, we wanted it to be sustainable. Now, that isn't, unfortunately, throwing loads of money and millions of pounds at something within 12, 18, 24 months. It's about making sure the platform and everything that's underneath the foundations are really solid. And that's not just the first team, that's the youth. We want to produce our own players. We talk about the likes of Sky Owen, KJ, the twins, all those players who have come right the way through, Beth Merrick, all those players, Tammy George, have come right the way through the pathway. We don't want to lose that. So it's important those foundations are there. And as I said, all I can say, as long as I'm still getting the feeling that the ambition is there, then I'm sure year on year we'll keep progressing, and everything always happens for a reason. I'm sure you two will agree. You three, will agree with that. And hopefully when the time's right and the stars align, then we'll get our moment and our opportunity that the girls and I have craved, and all the staff, and we can get to that elusive championship.
Well, absolutely, because you would have got there a couple of years ago when, apart from that
stupid rules,
playoffs. And then obviously you were down to 10, and I was at that game at Stockport. To be honest, even though you were down to 10, you were the better team on the day. You were so unlucky. I think had you stayed at 11, you would have actually got the promotion that year. Macca, we want to just switch back to the game against Brighton. Obviously, they're not having the best of seasons in the WSL. I think they've changed their manager as well, but they're still a fully professional team. They're going to be massive favourites, but getting Wolves fans down there to Telford to really support the girls this weekend is going to give them, when they walk out, such a lift. And and it's the FA Cup. Upsets do happen. I think Wolves are currently the lowest ranked side still in the tournament. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So we can have our, kind of Maidstone moment, and all of that. And, it'd be great if you could get over 2,000 there and break that record. And, are the girls, do they believe they can do it and get to the quarterfinals? It'd be incredible.
Yeah, well, listen, it's I don't think there's ever any point in anything in life unless you believe. It's a word. It's a word that we often use within the environment. There's got to be belief, otherwise we may as well just not turn up and let them go through. Someone said to me the other day, which puts it into context, you're 3 games away from Wembley, and when you think of it like that, what an achievement it is already for where we're at. But yeah, look, if we could get fans down there, it's. I go the game a lot myself, as you three know. You see me at the games and stuff, and just hearing, the song to walk out to is spine jingling at times, and we get the same down at Telford. You can tell when there's 200 in there, and you can tell when there's 600 and 700 in there, because it's amazing feeling to walk out to it, and no doubt it will have a massive impact on the girls this weekend, as well as surprising Brighton. I know one of the comments from West Ham when they came last season was, we can't believe how intimidating this place is. There's 1,600 Wolves people in there, and it does become a little bit intimidating, especially when they've got to come and perform there, the full-time outfit. So it is a David and Goliath, as you said. I think it's important that the people that are coming down understand just how big of a task it is. But I've said this to many fans over the years in different forums. This city unites in people that work hard for Old Gold, and I'm sure you three will back me up in saying that these girls will give everything on Sunday for the badge. That they'll represent the city in the right way, and they'll have a great work ethic. And listen, sometimes good things happen to good people, and who's to say we can't squeeze into that quarterfinal come Sunday evening?
Absolutely. And now I believe it is, I don't think you can go there for this game with your Wolves season ticket. I think I went and thinking, I think it is but I think your maximum you're going to pay is a £5. I think there's lot cheaper. I think there's even pound tickets and stuff like that for concessions. Can they pay on the day, or have they got to buy tickets before? How does that work?
Yeah, no, I think you can pay on the day. You can buy tickets before as well. So yeah, no, as I said, hopefully we get a healthy crowd down there. There'll be loads going on, shall we say, throughout the day. And it's not very often you get to see a Super League team, performing in and around Wolverhampton. So their quality. They've got some, the ex-Spanish international captain Vicky Losada playing. So that'll be an interesting matchup against Tammy George, Manny. I'm sure you'll enjoy watching that.
Mate, you know what? We've just seen Maidstone and like other clubs, small clubs and their home grounds with no hope apparently. But it raises people, doesn't it? It raises people to different levels. The adrenaline, you just perform to a different level. It's just the way humans work, And for all those girls marching out there against Super League opposition at home, and like you said, with a crowd, and it's a little bit raucous, and Brighton are just. We all know you need a little bit of luck, maybe. You need your keeper to have a blinder. You need things to go and all your chances to be taken. But it's 0-0 at the moment. It's 11 against 11. So, there's a chance. There's always
there's been plenty of cup upsets on that ground in non-league football and FA Cup matches in the men's game over the years. So it's a good place to cause an upset. Some big teams lost there.
And what time's kick-off next Sunday, Macca?
1 o'clock, yeah. It's earlier on Sunday, so it's a 1 o'clock kick-off.
I think it's also live, isn't it? It's live on iPlayer or something.
On the FA Player as well.
FA
Player.
Don't watch it on FA Player. We want you actually at Buxhead. We want the Wolf Pack down there getting behind the girls. This is a last 16 match against a women's Super League team to get to the quarterfinals of the women's FA Cup. It would be a massive achievement, and that's going to be massively helped by as many Wolves fans of every generation getting down there to watch. And I'll tell you what, if you've never been to a women's game before, get down there because the atmosphere is fantastic. I'll try and go 3 or 4 times a year myself with Emma. Went to the FA Cup match last year against West Ham. It was absolutely fantastic. Some of the football that is played there is really, really good. And it's exciting to watch. And I'll tell you what as well, the access that you get to the players as well is phenomenal because all the girls at the end of the game, they will come over to the fans. They'll have photographs. They'll sign autographs. They'll sign balls. And last year as well, I noticed the West Ham girls came over as well. And I'm sure the same will be the same with some of these like internationals, Spanish from the Brighton girls will come over as well. So even after the game, whatever the result, I'm sure that they'll come over and you'll be able to get like autographs and shirts signed and, all of that sort of stuff done as well. That's right, isn't it, Macca? Because they really do make an effort to show the fans their appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely. They've started to, and Manny will definitely back me up. They've built their own profile over the last few years, the girls, and it's thoroughly deserved. They're starting to get that profile. They get recognised. They get asked for photographs. They get to sign autographs, and it's nothing short of what they deserve. They've represented this football club fantastically well for, Perksy's 26 years now, and some of them for the last 12 months. So. Yeah, they'll be in and amongst the crowd at the end, no matter what the result. I might take a little bit more time to come over. depending on the result. But I'll definitely get over there as
I was
well.
going to say, Macca, when we win a league game, you're jumping 10 foot in the air when we win a league game. We beat Brighton. This guy, just have the camera on this guy. This guy's going to go absolutely ballistic.
Well, absolutely. Hopefully, we'll be able to get a chat with you after the game as well, Macca. Listen, mate, I know that you've given some time to come on tonight to talk about it, but like we really did want to highlight it to as many people as possible and encourage as many people to come down as possible. We'll promote it on our socials as well. If you go onto the Wolves women's socials, which I think Wolves have shared a link to the ticketing information today as well, get on that. Get down on Sunday, enjoy the day, back the girls, and you never know, you might be able to see an upset and history being made.
Yeah,
agree.
Any final thoughts, Matthew, before you shoot?
No, just really appreciate you going out your way to promote the girls, and as I said, let's hope we can both get through 5th round ties with Brighton. That'd be a story in itself, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Brilliant, mate. Good luck to all the girls and you and all your staff, and we're all going to be behind you, mate.
We will be, and it's really good. Thanks for being so open with your insight as well, with the questions and stuff. That's really invaluable, and hopefully that helps educate a few people as well who are interested in the development of the women's game. And there is no doubt in my mind that you will get to the championship within the next couple of seasons. You've been so close. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of when, not if, mate.
Brilliant. Fingers crossed.
All the best, mate.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers, Macca.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How about that? Fantastic.
Brilliant. Well done, Dave, for getting him on, because you know what? They deserve that, and we do concentrate on the men's game. That's just the way it is. But brilliant. We spent so much time tonight, just talking to him, and he's just a wonderful guy. So well done, Dave, for getting him on.
No, thanks, mate. I appreciate that. It's, this is a Wolves channel, and this is, we do obviously focus quite rightly on the men, but like the women, they train hard, they're part-time, they're achieving some fantastic things, and they do deserve the support. And as I say, it's great for the, Wolves manager Macca to come and give some time to come and talk to us and, and support. And like, we need to get down there on Sunday and support him, and let the record's 1,700 down at Telford. Let's break that 2,000 barrier and really get behind them, and you'll enjoy it. If you've never been before, you'll massively enjoy it as well. Right, on to the game itself, Manny. Yesterday you were there.
Yes.
You're wearing a red top in
you know what, there were 20 quid yesterday, so we go in and we bought them because I thought we will probably wear them on one of the days of the walk. So we all wore the red tops yesterday, not really knowing that they were going to wear red. And they've got a good record in these red tops, haven't they?
They have. I ain't a fan of them, as Cheerful Chris will say, but we have got a really, really good record. Mate, we went to Chelsea yesterday, didn't we? Yeah. We ain't won there since 1979. I did feel that we could, even though we lost against United in the week and we started really, really slow, I thought, and you've pointed it out as well on socials and talked about it, this team ain't like last year's team. They do not crumble. Right. They have fight. They have belief. They don't cave, and they fight back. And although it was a sucker punch at the end, I still walked out on Wednesday night proud of the thing. Yeah, they started slow, and but I think they were trying to get the win on Wednesday, and they got caught with a fantastic goal from that young 18-year-old. It was a great goal to win it, and it was a sucker punch. But you know what? They took it on the chin. They've turned it around. It's a small squad, and they took on the chin, even though they were the better team before Chelsea scored at the weekend. I thought we were on top even before they scored. They fought back, and they literally destroyed Chelsea, Manny.
Mate, you know what? In that second half, again on Thursday, we also destroyed Manchester United, really. We did. And if you think about it, we've scored 7 goals against United and Chelsea. 7 goals. We don't score 7 goals in 6 months in our previous regime. Bloody hell, that's unbelievable. That's after beating your local rivals on Sunday. So even though it was disappointing and it was gutting, and there was defensive errors, I'm looking at this team and they're like the entertain. Newcastle. Remember them? They didn't care if they conceded 2 or 3 because they just believed they could score 3 or 4. And this team, went behind against Man United, came back, went behind. You remember Spurs at home, came back, fought till the end, went behind against Chelsea, came back, and it's just unreal. They just got so much potency, and from all angles, it's like it's not even Neto only. It's from every angle. Nuri, from Neto, from Cunha, from Sarabia, who's like looking like a really good player, and that's without our top scorer being there. So yesterday was an epic away day. Like you said, totally dominated. When they scored that first goal, was completely against the run of play. We were bossing the game. We were in control. Only really looked like one side we were going to, score, and obviously they did score. But straight away, we're back up there. Straight away, Gomez is on there.
To be honest, he did really well to nick the ball. That's what Gomez does. He nicked the ball.
And then there's 4 players, Dave. 4 players in a line. It's like the red arrows. It was like they just went, and like previously we've been all shouting at, "Oh, go on, get in the box, go and get forward." And it used to be sort of back in the day. It used to be Adama, and everybody was like 20 yards back because no one could keep up with him. But all these players are fast. Nuri's really fast. Cunha, his turn of pace is just so electric, and we know what Neto can do. So yeah, brilliant performance, and quite deservedly had gone up 3-1 and 4-1, and yet a poor goal at the corner. But even then, we still went forward. We didn't sort of sit back. We still went forward. Bellegarde could have scored, and Neto, absolutely brilliant. The strength. You know what about Neto? How strong is he?
Scared. I mean, in the start of the second half, if you've seen the match vlog, you might have seen other stuff. Like I watched the match vlog because I'm right behind the goal. I mean, I've got all the goals, but especially the ones that end. But Neto, absolutely, his balance, his strength, his upper body strength, the way he keeps the ball. When there was 4 on him, he literally scared them to death. They were scared them to death. I mean, I'm going to say this guy, Pedro Neto, is world class.
He is. He's performing at the World.
He is one of the best players in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. He's unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, Matheus Cunha, his emotion that he shares with the fans and his pride. I mean, he's an emotional guy, Cunha is, but he's such a really good bloke. And it meant so much scoring that hat-trick to him. And then you see the pictures in the changing room after, okay, we've not won an FA Cup final or, won the league, but there's a togetherness that we'd lost for 3 years. And even though there was so much change and heartache and disruption and dissent and division in the summer, I do feel like everybody is really on board with this Gary O'Neill team. And Chris, I want to ask you, what do you think the difference is? What, I mean, in the team, the way we play, and is it just simply down to playing for each other? Is it belief?
No, there's a lot of difference, Dave. The first one, I think the manager has given them belief. So they believe now when they're playing, they're going to do the things that we see them doing now that are scaring other teams. They believe they can do it. They're playing away. He's given them a way to play that they believe in. So they're bought into it, the players. I don't think they ever bought into anything Bruno Lage did. So that, this is where I'd go as far as to say this team, its belief, its playing style, as a core team is better than Nuno's European team. I think O'Neill has moved this team that far forward. He's got a good core of players, a good playing pattern. He can change the way we play about. He makes the odd technical ruck up, but I think that's because he likes to try different things and he doesn't want to be a one-trick pony, and we certainly aren't. And some of these players now are really, I actually think he's designed a team around Kuna. I actually think that's what he's done. If you looked yesterday, that guy was pulling into places and spaces. There was nobody around him at Chelsea, and it was like, my God, look where he's got again. And we were getting the ball to him, and he was just, between him and Neto, making so much stuff happen. It's really good to watch. It's good to see we don't panic when we concede a goal. We'll stick to the plan. We'll carry on what we're doing. And I thought, I wasn't very happy with the goal we conceded, the first one on. I don't know where Totti was. I think we got the ball and we were going forward, and he just completely lost his bearings and where his bloke was. The ball was inside him, and he'd gone past him. It was like running through mud trying to catch up. But I think that he's got that core belief. He's got them a playing style. It's clear from all the press conferences. He sits them down and he gives them clear instructions about each game, and they've got a plan. How many times we come on here and said, well, what exactly are we trying to do? Because we've got no idea what we were playing like under Larger, but also a little bit under Lopetegui. Sometimes we're like, well, was the plan just not to let a goal in? And I think we've gone from that to a young manager that wants to get on. My real concern with how well it's going now is slightly differently. It's really whether the club matches ambition moving forward, and I'm worried that they may not, and he may get headhunted.
Sorry.
Go on, Manny. Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, you asked the question, what's the difference? I will point to one player, Ryan Aït-Nouri. Last year, if you ever watched him arrive at a game, he had his hoodie on, his headphones on, head bowed, never used to look at the fans, hardly had a smile on his face. Suddenly, he wasn't even in the squad. He got bombed out, sort of discarded. Nobody really knew what was happening. I'm pretty sure Lopetegui remains at the club. Aït-Nouri's on his bike. Now, the guy's got the biggest smile. He's, hugging people. He's jumping on people. He's in everyone's pictures. He's doing his own social media posts. He didn't do that last year, because he wants to join in with the fun. The guy is having fun. And that's Gary O'Neill, Sarabia, Hwang, Cunha, Aït-Nouri. All these players are better than what they were in the last 6 months of the Lopetegui era. They're better now. And that is what Gary O'Neill has done to each individual player that plays on that pitch. He's made them better. Cunha,
I got to give an exclusive here, Dave. I've got to say it. I actually like Aït-Nouri at the moment.
And you've hated on him, mate.
But you know why? Because he hasn't got the defensive responsibilities he used to have under the other managers. And he's playing to his strengths now. O'Neill has seen what his strengths are, and he's playing to it. Yes, he comes back and defends, but we've got that extra man at the back which helps him. And for what he's doing now, great. Wouldn't want to see anybody else there.
And interestingly as well, the game turned as well against United when Aït-Nouri come on and Sarabia in the week. I actually think he should have probably started in that game as well. You're right, actually, with some of the points you make there. I mean, again, if you watch the match vlog that I've done, because they come behind the goal and they're hugging, Aït-Nouri is in that group.
He's the first one. He's the worst one, reaching out to the fans. He's the first one.
He's doing high fives and stuff.
Yeah, and that's unknown. And if you think about it, I think, Chris, you're quite right. Defensively, we were probably better under Lopetegui. Really solid. We had a lot of 1-0s, scrapped them out, defended for our lives. But O'Neill's looked at the squad and thought, Cunha, Sarabia, Aït-Nouri, these are your strengths, attack. So let's get you attacking. Aït-Nouri was so far forward. We were always playing with a 4 at the back a lot of the time against Chelsea because we could. He was pushing them back so far forward. And that's his strength. He's as difficult. If you've got Neto flying on the other side, then you've got Aït-Nouri doing the same on the other side. And then you've got this Cunha who goes everywhere and does the same thing. It's like having, I think my son said, it's like having 3 Traores with end product.
It's a good point, actually.
It's like having 3 Traores with end product. We had 8 goals and assists from our forward players in the whole of the Premiership season. We got 45 between those 4 players already with 15 games to go. They've got 45 collaboratively. That is unreal improvement, and that's down to his coaching. That's not just players just turning up and thinking, oh, let's just play today. That's Gary O'Neill meticulously, and we doubted him. We wondered what he was going to do. Wow, and I agree with Chris. We had brilliant times under Nuno, but this type of football, this type of going into matches where you think you can score 3 or 4 against United, that you can score 4 against, we've scored 4 at Brentford, we scored 4 at Chelsea. This is slowly building. This has been building. It hasn't come straight away. That's him building every single day. We've done that without Neto for a huge part of the season. We've done that now without our top scorer for the last how many games. So we're doing it without real key players as well. And now these players are coming back. Neto's flying. Hwang comes back. Hwang can wait his turn, can't he? He can almost say, right, you've had a really hard Asian Cup. I'm going to let you have a little mini pre-season because these players ain't going to let you in anyway. And we can do that. Same with Gomez. We could do that. Now we got Doyle playing so well. We can bring Gomez back. We have actually got options. And, we didn't sign a striker. Everyone was frustrated. You name a striker that we were linked with that's better than Cunha, Neto, Sarabia, Hwang. No one. None of them are better than what we've got. The players we've got, the rest of the Premier League are looking at and thinking, wow, so enjoy the moment. We don't know what the future will hold. Obviously, yeah, they're going to be courted, but that's what we want. Obviously, that means you're doing well. That's all we can do, and we can, when the summer comes, we hope that he will get backing. But when you see the way they play, there's not much backing actually needed. There's only key components. We don't need 6 or 7 players because these players also, apart from maybe Dawson, they're quite young. They've got a lot to learn. They can still grow and get better. Cunha's not the full package, and he's just, yet he's not in terms of his peak. So it's good times. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, as well, we talked about goals, and we've got about 8 minutes left of this side of the chat. So we've got to get onto the performance ratings and all of that as well. But we talked about goals so many times over the last 2 or 3 seasons, and the last 2 seasons, we were the lowest scorers. In fact, the season before last, we stayed up with the lowest goals scored ever. Incredible. And we had 2 deflections yesterday, Ait-Nouri and Cunha. But if you don't shoot, you don't get those deflections.
In the right place,
if you don't shoot, you don't get them. Ryan Ait-Nouri, where did he come from the second goal? Because he's supposed to be on the left wing. He came across through the centre to get onto that cross, and then Pedro Neto for the third goal. How he surges past the defence, cuts it back. Cunha just finishes it, and then Cunha creates the penalty because he does
the same on the other side.
Running with the ball, and when you run at teams with the ball and you're doing it from all sides, through the middle, through the side, they panic and it causes a mistake. And also, we really, really did press Chelsea and made them make the mistakes. We were on the front foot. And, the only thing that was disappointed, and Gary O'Neill will be disappointed with, was conceding another goal from a set piece because we've been so good at defending set pieces, and probably the last 10 minutes. Other than that, I think he mentioned it in his thing. He was a bit disappointed with the thing. You're talking about a 4-2 win. And the last 10 minutes, he did make a few changes. We went a little bit sloppy, and we had a little bit of a period where we were a little bit sloppy 5 minutes before we scored the third goal. So it just goes to show there's still a lot we can improve on it. And you're right. In the summer, we didn't get the striker in. Gary O'Neill wants a number 9. They will get a number 9, and it needs to be the right person in the summer, and the investment. There's going to be in the summer. Pedro Neto is there's probably going to be a bidding war on him, but they've got to hold out for the right amount of money or say, I'm sorry, if you don't pay this money, he's not going or anywhere. Cunha has come on, all of these players. But I agree with you. I think we're only probably 3 players really short of a fantastic team. If we obviously the team as it stands, it is a striker. I think central defence.
Dawson. Yeah.
We need some help
With
as
his
well.
age,
Maybe another wide forward or something like that. Obviously, we know when Lamina's come in, and we'll see what happens with him. We bought some others for the future. We'll see what happens. But let's go first to you, Chris, with your Leemore Windows Man of the Match and your Fox at Shipley performance rating and your highlight of the day or moment of the day.
Man of the match was for me Kuna. Just going back to what you were saying about a number 9, I think if we buy a number 9, I don't think we will play the same formation next year, because I think we'll want to play Kuna as a number 10 with him. That's what I think, because I couldn't see a number 9 fitting into what they're doing now, really. So I think that we need to realise that may happen. So we may see some changes. But by the by, he was man of the match. I wrote your report for the Always Wolves website, and I gave it an 8, which I'll stay by. I thought there was two very sloppy bits of defending that caused us goals, and some little periods where we kind of lost stuff. I would question where 10 minutes stoppage time came from, because I didn't think there would be 10. But I give it a very solid 8, almost a 9.
Absolutely, and there's the report on the website. There, we also got like things we've learned as well, which was done there. All of these articles are on there to read, and also player ratings as well, all done by different people that write for the website. So go and check all those out as well, guys.
Moment of the day, I think I need to give him a mention. I think was probably Neto. Some of the things he was doing down the wing. Ben Chilwell. He's a proper class fullback, and he was made to be looking awful the weekend. He didn't know what to do with him.
Good point. Yeah. Manny, over to you for the same questions.
Yeah, man of the match. I mean, when a striker scores a hat-trick away from home, it's the first win there for so long. He was not only his goals, it was just his enthusiasm, isn't it? It's infectiousness. When we got rid of Neves and Cody and Martinho and Saiss and Ruddy, and we thought, where's all our leaders? Gary O'Neill suddenly produced a team of leaders. Lamina, Dawson, Kilman, Cunha. They all lead from different parts of the pitch, don't they? And they lead it with their talent. But then they have this rapport with the fans, all of them. And Cunha leads that. He is the ringleader with that bond between the fans and everybody else. He's just such an infectious nature. Just a really quick story, Dave. Remember that foundation awards we went to, and I sort of mentioned that I walked to Chelsea over 3 days, and Neto, Kilman, and Cunha were in the room at the time, and I looked at them and I said, "And you lost 3-0 because we lost against Chelsea 3-0." They started laughing, Neto and Kilman, and Cunha went, "I wasn't there." He went, "I wasn't there." Twice he said it to me. So here he is, Chelsea, the first time we went back there, and he smashes a hat-trick. So he was definitely there on, brilliant that was. So, what a performance. Those 2 goals were sloppy, but you know what? 4 goals away at Chelsea and beating them for the first time in 1979, that's just unreal. So I'm going to give it a 9, because I think it's just sometimes you play in that way where you do leave yourself a little bit exposed, but you believe that you're going to score goals. So that's why I'm going to give it a 9. Moment of the day, obviously that was the first game, Dave. Obviously you mentioned it, that I'd gone over, to that ground since we did the walk, and the Chelsea fans, mate, unbelievable. £175 in cash I had in my pockets for yesterday. And it was Wolves fans.
To be honest, mate, they were good.
Also Chelsea fans. They get a bit of a reputation, don't they? And let's be honest, if we go back to the 70s and 80s, every club had a reputation, including ours. So, they've sort of had one ever since. Sort of, you know, the media don't like, and I can't speak more highly of Chelsea fans. Whenever I've gone there, they come up to you, they shake your hand, they give donations. They're, you know, really kind. Even after the game, people are coming up to me, shaking my hand. Yeah, we remember you. Where's your link? And scanning the, you know, the QR code and everything. So brilliant. And we met the steward, that steward who led me in on the walk. He turned up there as well. So it was nice seeing those faces. So yeah, it was a good moment for me.
Yeah, and like after the game, actually, quite a few Chelsea fans came and talked to us. There's one that was walking down, and like he was saying, you absolutely smashed us. And I did find the gallows humour of some of them coming out singing, "We're blooming shit," or whatever along those singing coming out, you know. But they took it well. You know, I mean, they actually said to us, "You absolutely battered us. You deserved it. You were absolutely fantastic."
The 4-2 flattered them. Let's be honest, it flattered them because we made a couple of mistakes. It was our wrongdoings, not their brilliant play. So,
and this is what I'm saying. There's still a lot of room to improve. We saw it against United.
Definitely.
Too often we've conceded the first goal, and we've got to stop doing that because you've always got a mountain to climb. But you know, if you'd have said at the start of the year, with everything that had gone on when Gary O'Neill came in 3 days before the season, that here we are sitting the first week of February, we're in the top half, we're above Chelsea, we're a point behind Newcastle. We're
last 16 of the cup.
Last 16 of the cup, home tie against our bogey side Brighton, and we're within 5 points of a European place.
That's without, you know, with Neto Huang missing, Neto being injured, and
7 points deducted by VAR.
All those VAR deductions
as well. You wouldn't have believed it. You'd have thought it was a fantasist. And like Craig Tuberwolf, who came on something about the 7th or 8th goal, we did a reaction where he said, "We're going to finish 7th. We might not finish 7th. We might finish 11th, 12th, whatever. 13th last year. But from where we are, anything above that is progress." But like, this is a team that can go all. I believe we can go all the way in the cup. I really believe that we can get to a cup final this year. There's no reason why we can't do it, and I think we can finish top half without a shadow of a doubt. And why not? Because they believe it, and I tell you what, they want it and they're hungry for it. They are hungry, and we haven't seen hungry Wolves like this.
I think, you know, it reminds me of that first season with Nuno, because there's no expectation. Even this season, we thought, what's going to happen? We can actually leave that now. We can park it to one side and just start turning up and enjoying our team, playing well, fighting for the shirt, playing for the badge, having that rapport, knowing what they're doing, and just enjoy the moments. And then it's almost like, let's see where it gets us. And it got us into Europe, didn't it, with Nuno? And that's, rather than put the pressure, if we lose, put the pressure on by saying, we're never going to make Europe now, or we're not that good. We've got just enjoy, go to the matches, enjoy the games, and cheer the lads on. And let's see. And Dave, you're quite right. You know, beat Spurs, we beat Chelsea, we beat City. So these are the sides we're going to play in the cup. And you get a decent draw and a little bit of luck, we can go. I mean, that's a harder match for Brighton than it is for us. Yes, we have to turn up and play well on the day, but we are at home.
Listen, we hadn't beaten the Baggies since '96. We hadn't beaten at Orphans. We hadn't beaten
Chelsea's in '79.
Stamford Bridge since '79. We ain't scored this many goals at this part of the season for ages. And Brighton are our bogey side, and we can't beat them. I'll tell you what, we can, and we are going to in the next game, because the players believe they can do it, and we'll. I really think we'll beat Brighton, and then we'll have a quarter final. If we can get it at Molineux again, we can recreate that atmosphere against United that we had a few years ago. Who knows? We can do it. Finally, Manny, on this side of the chat, we are going to be doing the quiz, by the way, right at the end with everyone. We're not doing it in the first half. We're going to do it at the end. So we're going to do a big quiz, the penalty shootout quiz. Manny, just before we finish this first half, can you just give us an update on the mad walk to Newcastle? He's a happy chap because they haven't moved the fixture, which would have caused issues.
Oh man, we have been absolutely. It was all key with this 5th round being the midweek, and it wasn't just our match; it was also Newcastle's match. So ours was always going to be the Wednesday. I did hear, but it was whether Newcastle, whether the FA wanted to like have a Thursday match at one of the TV channels, but thankfully theirs is Tuesday, which means we'll have an extra day's rest than them before we play them. So the match is March the 2nd, 3 o'clock on the Saturday. 3 weeks tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the morning. We'll be setting off to walk to Newcastle. It's like, oh, man, what am I doing? What am I doing? But we're doing it.
At least you got Jeevan with you this time.
Well, I got Jeevan, and he's really, honestly, really looking forward to it. We know it's going to be hard. But you know what? The fans, especially this last month, have been unbelievable. I think we've had just under $4,000 in the last about 4 weeks as we're ramping up, and we've got 3 weeks to go. People are sharing it. Lots of people are, doing lots of great things. I've had people, put big donations in to sponsor like nutrition, hotel costs, just random people I don't even know. And so brilliant, absolutely superb response from all the Wolves fans. So, my links on all my social medias, and I try and share it. And people think, oh, he's sharing it. We share it because people want to donate. And every time you share it, more donations come on. So we will.
Will you be able to put it in the chat? We can put it on the screen as well.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Or I'll just email it to you or message it to you, Dave, if you want to throw it on. But thank you very much. We started the season on this link 142,000. We're just 156.5 now. So we went past £200,000 for Dementia UK alone, for just that charity alone. Just a couple of weeks ago, over $250,000 for all the causes that we've supported over the last few years. So is a chance to do something really big. Newcastle must, absolute top club. Their supporter liaison officer, Matt Willis, phones me out the blue and said, we've been following what you're doing. My dad is a Wolves season ticket holder.
Fantastic.
So he knows about it. My dad's told me everything about it, and this is where you'll be finishing. So there's another name we've given to the walk, from Billy to Bobby, because we're starting at Billy Wright statue and we're finishing at Bobby Robson's statue. And then they said they'll take us onto the pitch and everything. So absolutely brilliant. My mum and dad are here. They're going to be here, and they're going to go down to Newcastle. So that's going to be super emotional. Dave remembers the emotion.
One need to ask: are you going to be getting a stretcher to get you up them stairs to watch the match?
Well, I have to climb them.
You have a heart attack getting up there anyway.
We have to, yeah. That's part of the challenge, and just the adrenaline alone is just going to throw me up. I think the fans will probably just pick me up and take me up anyway if I just struggle. So, yeah, it's going to happen, and it's a cause that, and Dave, you know about, and every single person knows somebody somewhere in their family tree. 1 in 2 people soon will have somebody in their family. Every 3 minutes, 1 million people. And we just got to talk about it more, and we got to do more. Dementia UK started out with 2 nurses in 1992. They've got 450 now, but we need more. And the way we can have more, caring for more families, is we donate more, and you donate huge amounts. And that's why we carry on, and that's why we do this walk. So please click on the links, donate. Give what you can. If you can't, just share it, with anyone's social media. When you can't do something personally, pass it on, because when you pass the parcel, somebody will get it and think, oh, I can do that. So just pass it on, tag people in, tag Newcastle in, tag, whatever you want to, players in, and see if they can respond and do something as well. So thank you very much, everybody. And wow.
Drop me the link, mate, and I'll put it on the chat in a second. And guys, we will be... forgive me, but we will be really promoting this over the next 3 weeks, and hopefully we'll get Manny on somewhere between here and Newcastle a couple of times during the walk as well, too, as an update. If you can drop even £1, it makes a difference, and it makes a difference to people's lives. And if he's going to go through absolute hell on earth for 5 days and probably won't have any feet by the time he gets there and stuff like that. I saw Manny arrive at Chelsea last year, and he was very emotional. It was tough. So this is even harder. So yeah. We'll make sure he's covered. We'll put it on the link. Guys, Chris and Manny, thanks for joining us the first half. Guys, they'll hopefully join us for the quiz at the end. So stick around for that, because we're going to have a 5-way shootout for the this week's quiz penalty quiz champion. But until then, Cheerful and Manny, thanks ever so much for joining us.
Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Again, this ends the first part of the show, and a big, massive thank you to Creation Wolf for powering this show. If you're listening to it on the podcast, we're splitting it into 2. So it's time to welcome you back to the second half, part 2 of tonight's show. Again, thank you to Creation Wolf for powering the show. The link's in the description. And we've got 3 top pundits joining us tonight. First of all, I know you love to have him on. It is Sutty. Hi, mate. How you doing?
Good evening, David.
Well, it's great to see you, mate. And I'll tell you what, saw you before the game. You came over before the match. You came over at halftime. And what did you say to me, Dave? You went, we're going to score more against these second half.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Yeah, told you we'd score a couple more in the second half, didn't I? You were in the right place.
Oh, mate. Have you watched the match vlog back?
Yeah.
Have you watched some of the Chelsea match vlogs back?
All of them. I always watch the opposition ones. I like to watch the ones that don't go to the games and just like discuss it live. I like it when they score. I like it even more when they concede, because they just have something about London clubs, mate. They have a complete meltdown, don't they?
Oh, they do, mate. It was a great day, and we're going to get stuck into it. We've also got coming on tonight. Coming back tonight, we've got young Lewis. How you doing? You've been doing some football training yourself tonight?
Yeah, Dave. It's only a really casual thing with a few mates. But yeah, I've been there tonight, and then come on here to talk about Wolves. So yeah.
Happy days. Well, don't forget you have signed a 3-year contract with Always Wolves football team, which we'll have some details coming up very, very soon on the charity Sevens raising money for the Wolves Foundation, which will be later in the year. Hopefully be even bigger than last year. And finally, his daughter's been playing, I do believe, a bit of football tonight, mate.
Yeah, no coaching from me. I'll leave that to the experts. But yeah, I've just come back from a little bit early tonight. She was doing a football training. So I was listening to that Wolves women chat, which was great because, under sevens, and even at that level, it's great to see the involvement with the girls. So she's enjoying it. And at that age, it's all about enjoyment. I don't give her any instructions other than enjoy it. So, yeah, back for that. And evening to you all.
Good evening.
Evening,
And it does seem that Howler is almost perched on your shoulder like a parrot tonight. And
I know. Which way? I'll put his red top on as well, actually.
I noticed he's got the red top on as well.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his smiley face. I've never seen him so happy, mate.
I know.
Listening to it on the podcast, you're listening to it on audio, and you need to go and check it out on the YouTube channel. But if you are listening to it on the podcast, Howler was given his name.
In there? It's right, there we go.
There he is. And he is basically a cuddly wolf. And when things were really bad, a year ago, he wouldn't even face the screen. He would turn his face away. And I've never seen, he's so happy. And to be honest, he's even wearing that red top as well. Incredible.
Yeah. He's got a permanent grin on his face these days, like I think we all have at the moment. So it's a good place to be, being a fan, a Wolf, or whoever you are associated with the club. So no, I think we're all in good spirits and all sharing that delight at the moment.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, Sutty, let's get stuck into it, because we have had some drosh for the last 3 years. We've had not a lot to smile about. We haven't felt connected to the team for a long, long time. And the transformation in the last 6 months in terms of like the connection with the players, to the fans and to the manager and all of that. And the way we feel when we go into a game, because I know you were really, really down about stuff and, and stuff like that. Looking forward to going to the games, going there with belief, being entertained, not, passing it side to side. You heard the Chelsea fans watching their team. Now let's face it, Chelsea have spent £1 billion over the last 2 or 3 years on players, and they were passing it side to side, not penetrating. And not long ago, that was Wolves, with the fans getting frustrated and booing them off the pitch. And now we're singing "Let's All Have a Disco" in the stands. The players have got songs, the new players. The players are coming round the back of the goals to jump in with the fans and doing high fives. There's a connection there that was lost. And it's long way it lasts, mate. It's great. I mean, how much did you enjoy that match yesterday? How much have you enjoyed the last week?
Well, I've enjoyed all season, to be honest, Dave. Even the beginning of the season started at Man United. Let's be honest, he set his stall on how he wanted to play. He'd had 4 days with them, and okay, that's Lopetegui's side, and probably most of Lopetegui's tactics, really, because he wouldn't have had much time with them, would he? But we saw a glimpse where we have torn Man United a new backside and got robbed, and that gave us a little taste. Could we carry this on? We then went on a bit of a dip, Dave. I think we lost again, and then we beat Everton, didn't we? We scraped to win against Everton, and that was poor. And we're all thinking, my God, it's all going to pot here. But I actually think, Dave, it was outstanding on Sunday. It'll go in my top 10 away days of all time. It has to, because we haven't won there since 1979, so it has to go in that top 10. But for me, this all started for me, Dave, at Luton away. We went down to, we were getting battered. We were playing 4 across the back, and we were getting annihilated. We should have been 3 down at half time.
Yeah.
And some might say it was unlucky, but I still believe to this day, if Bellegarde hadn't got sent off,
would have won the game.
And we'd have scraped a draw, because they were battering us with 4 at the back, Dave.
Yeah.
And one tactical switch earned us a point. And this is the list since, Dave.
Yeah. Go on. I saw you writing in the green room. He does love your postage notes. If you're listening to this on the podcast, on audio, this is Sooty, who's been writing some notes down on postage notes, and you're going to read it back to us.
So we'll start with Luton. I'm not going to go pre-Luton. And if you remember, Ipswich away was awful. So this is including Luton, 1-1 draw. Man City, 2-1 win. We thought we were going to get battered, didn't we? Bournemouth away, 2-1 win. Villa at home, 1-1 draw. Newcastle, 2 each draw. Spurs, 2-1 win. Forest, 1-1 draw. Burnley, 1-0 win. Chelsea, 2-1 win. Everton, 3-0 win. Brighton, 0-0 away. United, we've lost 4-3, but we showed some bottle. Brentford away, 4-1 win. Chelsea away, 4-2 win. Albion away in the Cup, 2-0 win. Brentford, 1-1 draw in the Cup. Bring them back.
Hold on.
3-2 win.
1-1 draw in the Cup. Played for 90 minutes with 10 men. Went a goal behind and still got a draw.
But most impressive thing in this is, Dave, that amounts to 17 games in total, including Luton. Right? We've had 10 wins, 6 draws, and 1 loss. That's 29 points out of a possible 42. And if you take that into current league form, from there, you're in the Champions League, Dave.
So my dad's right then.
We've left it too late. but we might get in the Farmers League at this rate, because what happens is confidence breeds confidence, Dave. Now, as you all know, I have criticised this club for 2 years now and the running of this club. And I've just heard you go on there and say, well, we need it. We could do a number 9. And I believe Chris is right. We'd have to change the way we play. We're proving you don't need a number 9. We've got one in Asia when he comes back. So I don't know what he's going to be doing. And he's top scorer.
Yeah.
But we've got a lad at the moment playing, has broke into the Villarreal side, playing at centre half, Mosquera.
Yeah,
so
that's
if he's
true.
good enough to play in the Spanish league, top
Yeah.
league, with one of the top sides, he should be good enough to play in this league. So there's
Although
one there.
Who was the Spanish guy that we had that came in and he was in, and he didn't really cut it in the Premier League, did he? What was his name?
Jesus, was it?
Yeah.
Jesus. But what I'm saying is, this is all looking very good. And I agree with Chris as well. And I'll hold my hands up. I've got this completely wrong, Dave, by the looks of it. But there are better signs now than the Nuno era. And there's a better connection with the players. The squad players look connected. And I think you've got to give this manager and his backroom team so much credit, Dave, because I think British coaches are overlooked far too much. Right now, I believe that Gary O'Neill is the 3rd worst paid coach in this league. They're going to have to probably quadruple his money at least if he carries on with this. And also let him mould his own team, because he'll want some out. That's natural. That's called natural wastage in this game. He'll want some out the door, and he'll want to bring some of his own in. There might be some that go that we think we can't let them go. We're self-sustaining, Dave. Everyone's for sale, and if the right price comes in, the right price, not any price, it enables them to move on to the next level. If we finish 10th this season, that is fantastic. We might get to a cup final as well, Dave. That's improvement, right? I think if you look back at Man City's first 10 seasons in the Premier League, it took them 10 years to win it. Right now, I'm not saying I've gone on about Fosun before, going on, we're going to win it in 5 years. Totally unrealistic. Never going to happen. But you buy into these things, Dave. You cling to things like that when people tell you that. But it's all going in the right direction. I saw something at Chelsea the other day, and the second half of Man United, where I thought, let me look at the clock. Yeah, we have got the biggest pair of bollocks known to mankind. I mean, we've got balls that should be getting wheeled round in wheelbarrows, mate. They're that big. We will have a go at anybody. And if we go to the latter stages of this cup, no one will want to get Wolves.
Loving it. Absolutely brilliant. As always, mate, that's a TikTok clip on its own, that is. To be fair. Lewis, mate, I mean, you've heard what Sutty's got to say. You're a young Wolves fan. You're very, very studious with players and stuff like that. I mean, the Chelsea game, the last week, talk about the last week with us, the Baggies, Man United, Chelsea, in the last few weeks. What are you seeing in this team? I mean, what's the difference for you, in the summer? Where do you think we're going to have to strengthen? Because I know you do really do a lot of homework on players that are available and stuff that could fit in. What's the future hold for this team? Where can we finish? You need to we can't hear you, Lewis.
Can you hear me now, Dave?
That's better, yeah. I thought I'd literally stunned you silent for a second there.
No, I think at the minute the team is in such a good position. Everything seems to be going so well for the club at the moment. It's still There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. There's obviously targets that will be in place that will be a lot different at the end of the season for next year in comparison to how they would have looked at the start of the year. I think the way the club is going at the moment, the trajectory of the club is a lot higher than it was at the start of the season. I don't think anybody would have anticipated how well Gary's done. To the fact that Julian, who is a top manager, decided that the players weren't good enough and he didn't have the right investment to do a job successfully, and he decided to leave. And you look at the difference that Gary's got out of the squad, I think it shows that the problem really wasn't with the team. It was with Julian, unfortunately. And sometimes that's not me kind of saying Julian's a bad manager, but with Wolves, he wasn't. Clearly, it didn't work out for him. He'll probably get another job and he'll do a good job there. But
I was saying to Emma yesterday and a few of the fans, I was thinking, if I was Julian now, who's still sitting waiting for a juicy Premier League job like a Chelsea or someone like that to come on. It's like have you when you used to watch, ever watch Bullseye, you might have said with the darts and they go, this is what you could have won. It's kind of like, this is what you could have had. You could have been that manager that I'm not sure would have been as high up in the league anyway. I was talking about that. I mean, someone asked in the chat, where do you think we'd be in the league? I think we'd be okay, but I'm not so sure we'd be playing this sort of football. And I just wonder whether he's sitting there now thinking, what a absolute mistake that was, because Gary O'Neill's going to be, if hopefully he's going to be going to the same level of like Nuno respect, and his stock is just going like that. And someone said earlier, if his stock keeps willing to rise, people are going to come into it. I'll tell you what, if there are big teams that start to take an interest in him, then he's really doing well for us. But I do think that Graham Potter jumped from Brighton to go to Chelsea. It doesn't always work out, and he did get the sack from Bournemouth. They moved him on last year, and Bournemouth are doing okay under their new manager. But to me, Gary O'Neill is someone where I think he'll want to be at a club, some stability, and build his reputation over 2 or 3 years before he'd probably, look at moving. But Sutty is right. They are probably going to need to increase his salary, and he's well earned it.
But there's definitely going to be interested in Dave. He's, like you said, he's an English manager. They're attractive to a lot of clubs. And he's a quality manager as well, regardless of his nationality. He's a quality manager. So they're definitely going to have to deal with interest. In terms of whether he will go, I think at the moment, I don't see a reason he would leave. I think clearly, in the press conference, he has spoke about wanting a number 9. He's made it very clear. But I think he's also aware of the situation, and he seems happy enough at the moment. And we say it kind of every week, really. If the situation, in terms of us bringing players in doesn't change in the summer, as the club seem to have promised that it will, I think then the option for him to leave is a lot higher, and the chances he will leave, are a lot higher. But at the moment, I don't really see a need for a number 9. I agree with Chris. I heard what he was saying, and this is something I spoke about after the West Ham game when Aït-Nouri didn't play because I think he was ill. He came on in the 70th minute. I think the way we play at the moment, it doesn't suit a number 9 as well as the way we play currently. Aït-Nouri is obviously on that left-hand side in the midfield as a midfield 4. And then Pablo or Neto, whoever's on that left-hand side, will cut into the top to go next to Cunha. And obviously Cunha would benefit playing with the number 9, but then how do you fit Aït-Nouri in unless you're going to go back to a back 4 permanently, which I don't think suits us. We've seen that the past couple of years. So in terms of a traditional number 9, someone like Broho, a bit bigger, bit more physical, maybe it would suit the top end of the pitch, but at the back end with the defence, I don't see how you can kind of fit that in. So in terms of the signings he's going to make, I think he wants the number 9, but maybe more so to offer him a few more options, because there is always the risk that Cunha gets injured. That sometimes we will have to go, especially next season. I think teams will start to kind of sit in more against us, and it might be that we change the way we play slightly. I don't want to lose the kind of shape and formation that we have at the moment, because I think it's working so well. but teams are going to adapt to against when they're playing against us. And I think you saw it a couple of times this season already. Like Sheffield United did it, and obviously they won the game. Fulham, they beat us 3-2. They kind of sat in a lot. They didn't really push out much, and they were, they're probably a stronger side than Sheffield. So you can see already that having more options is only a benefit, but also the players are going to have to want to come and kind of bide their time as well if they're not going to start. But yeah, I think at the moment the way the past few games have gone, even against Man United with the loss, I think the performance was there, and it's something I always kind of talk about with my friends and my family. I would rather play really well and just lose out than absolutely dominate the game and just win the game, because I think the performance, it has to be there, because it tells you a lot more about the long term of the club. The results will come if you play well consistently. If you play badly and just nick it, then maybe in the next few weeks you're going to lose more than you're going to win.
Lewis, as always, absolutely brilliant commentary from you. Really, really appreciate that. Guys, I do want to say, listen, if you do want to get involved with the chat, and we've got nearly, again, over 260 watching live. I don't know, thousands more watch it back and listen to it on the audio, but like you're watching it live, hit that subscribe button. And also, don't forget, we give all the Wolves news, and there's loads of stuff that comes on the channel. And hit the notification if you've not already got that. I'm not sure how many people have hit that like button yet. Someone in the chat can put it, but that lets YouTube know that you're enjoying it. Hoops, you've heard what Sutty and Lewis have had to say there. What do you want to say back on that, and what do you want to add to it?
I just think it's a really good place at the moment, isn't it? And it's lovely to come on here and sort of wax lyrical about the team, about the manager, because that's not always the case, as we know, with this roller coaster of supporting Wolves for however long we've all supported this amazing club for. But even within a couple of years, you have so much extremes and ups and downs. And I think, last season, certainly the second half, was about pragmatism. It was about grinding out the results because, we were bottom at Christmas, and that was enough. And then we had this sort of summer which turned on its head. And there was absolutely, and we have to say this, because I was one of them, reservations about O'Neill, and it was nothing personal. It was just the fact that we'd gone from a manager with a huge CV to someone, who's a relative novice in the managerial game, So there was concerns, and City referenced the Ipswich game, and I think that was a sort of a bookmark moment where after that, certainly externally, there was a lot of criticism, but internally, and in fairness to the club, and they've been proved right, they've stuck with the man. I saw a comment there about Hobbs leading the charge, and he was very public saying, "This is my man. This is who I want," and he's backed him. And I think what we've seen is the second half of the season being about pragmatism, and now we're seeing the entertainment factors here now. And I think that's what we're really enjoying, and that's what Lewis mentioned there. We're watching games, and okay, we're disappointed as we always would be to come off a 4-3 against United, but you come away and go, wow, we've watched the game here, and even at points within that game, we were shocking first half. We were awful. We all know we were terrible. However, we always still looked like we were going to get back into the game, even if we didn't deserve it, because of the players that we've got, because of the attitude that we've got. And I think what's been proven to be the case, and I'm so happy it is when you start to think about O'Neill and this team, it's a real perfect symmetry. And the symmetry is this: you've got a young manager who's hungry, is ambitious, and wants to push on. And you've got a nucleus of a side who are the same. You've got young, ambitious players, hard-working type players with something to prove. So actually, when it comes together, you've got a manager who says, "Do you know what? Let's go for this journey together," because the last manager didn't seem to back you, and to be honest, the fans didn't seem to back me. So it's kind of brought in that, hasn't he? He's sort of bottled that and said, well, actually, let's have a little bit of this underdog spirit, because they're all writing us off, but actually, I believe in you. And he's right to do that, because if we look back at January last year and the recruitment, Cunha, Dawson, Cunha, Lamina, these are good players. Joe Gomez, absolutely. You know, all of those players we've mentioned are starters now, aren't they? And one of the names on the team sheet. So he didn't inherit an underperforming squad in terms of these are talented individuals, but he's given them a bit of freedom this year. And as a fan, it's like, this is just, you look forward to the games. You know, we've seen many managers, and Nuno was part of it, where it got results, but at times it bored the arse off us, didn't it? Let's be honest, some of the performances. But now you've got the performances and you're getting the results as well. So there's just that bit of me which has been a bit of a Wolves fan, and that sort of, I don't know if it's Howler on my shoulder tapping me to say, this can't be going on for too long. When's it going to go wrong? Because it just feels so good at the moment.
That's always
but when you
with Wolves, isn't it? You know, you just
Yeah.
like, where's the sting coming from? Because you always think that as Wolves fans. But I do think this is a team. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's a young and hungry manager. It's a young and hungry squad. There has been a transition. We've lost some big names. Sutty mentioned it before. We love Neves. He's an absolute legend for us. But we look a better team without him. And that's no disrespect to Neves. It's just because there's so much on his shoulders that we relied on him to drag us up the pitch to get that bit of magic. And now you've got multiple players that are taking on responsibility. You look at the cup game against Brentford when we were down to 10 men. Tommy Doyle comes in. He single-handedly, got stuck in, and I mean, he ran that game. And then Pedro Neto comes on and does what Pedro Neto thinks. But Tommy Doyle was such a leader, and he didn't start yesterday, and he's been absolutely magnificent. Joe Gomez comes in yesterday. He's young and hungry as well, winning the ball, biting in midfield. He's always got the danger that he might pick up a yellow or a red because of the type of player he is. Lemina's consistent every single game. The defence, I do worry about the back three at times getting caught out, but that's like we did at West Ham as well, because sometimes we're pushing up, you're sometimes going to get caught out. But they have been great at set pieces. We've got young Nathan Fraser that came off the bench against Brentford and scored a goal. I mean, he's a unit, and I trust him more than Fabio Silva to come on and do a job when he comes in. And Sarabia's starting to pull out performances. Bellegarde's starting to, he maybe should have scored at the weekend and made it 5. He tried to do. You just look across the whole pitch, and everybody. I mean, that one block, when Chelsea the tackles that they made when they thought they were surely going to score, and the blocks that we come in.
It's a team, isn't it? And I think, like you say, there was so much focus on Neves last year, and there was so much talk about, well, he's going to go, and it kind of just dominated things. But now you've kind of got that more team mentality, and I think you've got to give the manager full credit for that. It's not about an A individual. It's not a Neves and a other. It's a nucleus of still a small squad. And yeah, it's not dissimilar to what we saw when we came up.
Absolutely, and it's great to be positive. We know that there's going to be times coming up where they're going to have bad performances. But what has impressed me is, they had a hangover from West Brom. We started slow against the Baggies as well, to be fair, but they keep going despite adversity. And if there's a weak link in this team, it is conceding the first goal. And if we can get rid of that and stop the little mistakes and tighten up a bit, and that's probably going to be squad evolution that's going to happen over time, then, we're going to be a really, really top side again, and not worrying about getting dragged into a relegation battle. We're on 32 points, 2 more wins, and we're home and host, and we've still got 15 games to go. We would have said that at the start of the season. We're going to come on to the match ratings and everything in a second. I do want to say again a big thank you to Creation Wolf for powering extra time, for everyone that's subscribed tonight. If you are a member of the channel, by the way, because there's a few new channel members, if you message Always Wolves Facebook page, Always Wolves Instagram or Twitter with your details and your YouTube channel name, we'll get you onto the members Discord group, and they talk every day. And if you're not a member, if you become a member, it supports the channel, helps us power that as well. So we love to get more members involved. Right, Sutty, who is actually a channel member as well, which, you know, for quite a long time, and we have some good chats on there. Your man of the match, your performance rating, and your highlight of the day or moment of the day.
Cunha for man of the match. I think you've got to give it man of the match when they've got a hat-trick, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm not buying into 8s and 9s out of 10 for this, Dave. I'm giving it a 10 plus.
A 10 plus? We've never had a 10 plus. That's worth actually having. It's like an A plus at school, isn't it? Odd thing. When you get an A, but you get an A star or an A plus. So we're going to give it you're going to give it a 10 star or a 10 plus.
A 10 star, then we'll give it a 10
I like that.
star.
I like that.
And I'll tell you why, Dave. And this is not taking anything away from anybody that wasn't there. But if you were there, you'd have given it a 10. And there's only a few that are fortunate enough to go to these places week in, week out. And we're some of them, thankfully. And that, I've never seen us win at Chelsea. Never. We've never done the double over them since 1975.
We've won 3 in a row against them as well now.
Yeah, so it has to be a 10. Okay, the 2 goals were a bit sloppy, but we have absolutely not torn them a new backside. We've ripped them a backside from their backside up to the back of their neck, Dave. We were that good. It was outstanding. As I say, that'll be in my top 10 games of all time. And I'm into a lot of games, Dave. I'm telling you now, it's in 4 figures. So that's how good that game is. So that is derogatory to give it an 8. Sorry, Chris. I know I love you, mate, but that's not an 8. Okay. So, and then my moment of the day is nothing to do with the football, really. I had a message off a young lad who watches this avidly, Dave.
Yeah.
A few months ago, and they're on the members list, and they struggle getting tickets, and the only tickets that they could get was in the Gene Kelly stand every now and then for not the too attractive games. And I offered him my 2 South Bank tickets so he could go with his dad. And they've been going in them 2 South Bank tickets ever since. And his dad asked me if I could get him 2 Chelsea tickets for Sunday for his first away game. And he sent me a message on the way home saying it was the greatest day of his life.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Finn and Steve, I hope you had a cracking day. I know you'll be watching this. Good on you for getting yourself down there. And let's hope we can get you to many more.
That's absolutely fantastic. And that deserves... Nice one. Like that. Oh, yeah, there goes. Yeah, we've got more going on for that. I'm loving it. Special effects now. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Thanks ever so much. Lewis, and hi to them as well. Glad you enjoyed the day, and it'll be something that they'll live with them forever, no doubt, as well, and for all of us. Lewis, same to you.
Yeah, I think, you know, we don't really score hat-tricks ever, even in the Championship. I don't think we might have got 1 or 2, but you know, it's always a special thing for Wolves to get a hat-trick. So Cunha's going to be my man of the match.
We've never had I think any Wolves player score a hat-trick away from home in the Premier League until yesterday.
Yeah, I think
only
I saw
4 players ever scored hat-tricks at Chelsea in the Premier League history.
The away team.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, so I think you have to give him. It's such a, you know, I remember the Leicester game when it was 4-3 and Jota scored his so well, and it's going to be the same for me. You know, in many years after this, you know, this Cunha hat-trick is a big point in this season, and I hope it's a big point in his career at Wolves. I think performances, I'm going to give it 9.5. I think couple of goals. The first one, maybe we could have been a bit better on defensively to concede. But generally, I thought we were really good throughout consistently. We battled, we outplayed them. They weren't Chelsea at home like we come to expect in the Premier League, that they were nowhere near. And I know they're having a bad season, but that was an exceptionally bad day. And this brings me on to my moment of the game. I feel too often that when Wolves win a game, the pundits and the commentators, they only focus on the fact that the team we're playing are apparently having a bad day. But when I was watching it at home, Paul Gale, I think he's a Chelsea fan, he used to play for West Ham. He actually said, let's forget about talking about how bad Chelsea have been and let's talk about how good Wolves have been today. And I think that is a really big thing for me, obviously, at home, to hear that from somebody who's a commentator and, in that position. That's a nice compliment for us to finally get, and it's one that we deserve for a long time.
Match of the day, we're quite positive about us as well, and we're saying how well we did too. I was like, rather than the other team played bad, they actually were quite positive about how we were doing as well, which was a nice change.
Yeah, and obviously the goals were great, especially Cunha's penalty. So much pressure on him as well. So composed in that last kind of with the penalty. But yeah, that was my moment of the day, to hear that from someone other than Wolves fans. That was what I like to hear.
And we are going to be going over to Sutty in a second, but Sutty has clearly just disappeared. His internet's gone. He's obviously going to be back in a second. So I'm just going to message Manny whilst I'm thinking, just to let him know that quiz about to start. Not Hoops, Sutty. I mean, Hoops have disappeared, and Chris will be back. So I'm going to get Cheerful back on the screen. Right, Cheerful?
Yes, I just want to say I totally disagree with Sutty. It's an 8. We seem to forget we let 2 goals in, but Sterling missed the sitter, and so did Jackson. So I can't give it a 10 because of the gaps and opportunities we create. That's because I'm a boring defender.
You're not called Cheerful, Chris, for a reason, for a reason, are you?
No, I know. It's all a bit of banter, mate. Don't worry about it.
No. And we've got Sutty back now. So, Sutty, your performance rating, man of the match, except before we get on.
We are alike, but no, I think you're referring to me. But I'll say that as a compliment. Yeah, no, all good. I can't say we can't say anybody else than Cunha, can we? I suppose just to kind of add a bit of context, not man of the match because no one can take that crown. There were just some great performances. What a team we look like with Ainouri, and another brilliant performance. Semedo, Gomez as well. I'm such a big fan of Tommy Doyle, but Gomez came in and he did what Gomez does, and gave us a completely different dynamic the way he pressed. It was amazing. Rating 7.5. No, I'll go with a 9. We've got to go with 9. I think a little bit of a blemish, but I'm with Sutton. I think you've got to put it in context. There's an experience. You can't put that in numbers, can you? But yeah, if you're being a coach's head rather than the fan's head, you'd probably go 9, 9.5. But what a great afternoon!
Absolutely fantastic afternoon,
Dave,
mate.
Can I just quickly say about Chelsea? I just don't think they knew what formation we were playing. Because if you watched us when we were attacking, Ainouri's he's all over the place. When we're defensive, he drops into the 5. But as soon as we go onto the attack, they're thinking, where's this bloke coming from? They just didn't have a clue what was happening. And we just...
Oh, he's back. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Right then, before we get on to the quiz, score prediction for Brentford, Lewis?
I'm going to go 1-1, Dave.
1-1? Why 1-1?
We played them too regularly recently. I think they're going to be really well versed, as are we, in how they play. But I think because we played them so much, there might be too much familiarity from the coaches. And I hope Gary doesn't, but I think it'll be easy for both sides to overthink the game and try and overcomplicate it. Sometimes familiarity can be really good, and it can help you a lot. But because obviously they're coming in with Tony back as well, I think it offers something different that they didn't have in the previous games against them. I would like to win, and I'm keen to win. Yeah, I think 1-1 might be the score.
Fantastic. Cheerful.
I've just watched Brenford play Man City. They got beat 3-1. I think the danger isn't so much Tony. I think the danger is Morpay. He scored again tonight.
Okay, yeah.
He's on a good run of form, and he's a little shyster, if I want to use a better word. Keep him quiet, and I think we'll win 3-1.
3-1. Okay. Hoops, Brentford.
Yeah, I can see Lewis's logic. I get that. But I'm just going to tip us. So I'm going to say 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Sutty.
2-0.
Manny, Brentford.
Brentford, I think we're going to beat them 2-0. Yeah, I'll agree with Sutty. We're going to beat them. We're better than them. No, keep Tony quiet, obviously, but we'll beat him.
Nice. Well, Manny, as you haven't been on for a while, I'm going to give you the first option for the penalty shootout quiz. Do you want to go first, second, third, fourth?
Right on the life and history of bloody one player, is it from the 19s?
Well, I'll just do it. I'm going to do random on my little quiz book. So
well, I'll go first. Might as well get into the deep end. Head first.
I know Chris is very competitive, so we'll give him the opportunity. Second, third, fourth, or fifth.
Fifth, please.
Hoops.
Ooh,
you get to pick next. Second, third, or
I'll go after Manny, then second.
Sutty, third or fourth?
Fourth.
So Lewis, you're right in the middle. Third. Okay, this is the penalty shootout quiz. Okay, this is for this week's champion, and I am going to try and get.
Is this like a knockout? So as soon as you get it wrong or something, you're out?
No, you got 3 penalties and then shootout. So there you go. So Wolves were one of the founder members of the Football League, which was founded in 1888, Maddie. How many clubs were in that original league? Was it 8, 10, 12, or 15?
I was going to say, before you said that, I was going to say 12, but I might be wrong. But I'm going to stick to my original. It just hit me in my head, 12. So I'm going to stick to that.
So you're going to go for 12?
Yeah.
And you've just done exactly what Kuna did yesterday. Give the keeper the eyes, put it pin, no problem.
I'm retiring.
You're second up, yeah?
Go for it.
In 1892, the English Football League was expanded to 2 leagues. Wolves remained in the first division, the top flight, until they were relegated in the first time. In which season? Was it 1900-01? Was it 1905-06? Was it 1910-11? Or 1921?
I remember the bed sheets.
You've let us down again. There's no fault with this.
You've been done there, mate.
1901.
So you're going 1900 at 1901.
Yeah.
It's a good effort, but you've hit the post. It's 1905-06. So you've missed. Lewis, in 1920, the 3rd division was added to the Football League in the form of the 3rd Division North and the 3rd Division South. Wolves remained in the 2nd division until they were relegated to the 3rd Division North for the first time in what season? And I tell you what, the fans were out against the owners that season, big time. Was it 1920-21, 1921-22, 1922-23, or 1923-24?
I'm going to go 19. What was the second option, Dave?
So 2021, 21-22, 22-23, or 23-24?
21-22.
You've hit the other post. It's 22-23. So that means that, is it Sutty that's up next?
Yeah.
Wolves won their first league title when they returned to the 2nd division as champions of the 3rd division in which season? 23-24, 24-25, 25-26, or 25 or 26-27?
The third one, Dave.
You're going 25-26.
Yeah.
You hit it over the bar. It was 23-24 season.
How did you not know that?
I know. It's 100 years ago. You'd think you'd know that, wouldn't you? Right. After winning the second division, Chris, for the first time, Wolves spent the majority of the next 52 years in the top flight. How many times were they first division champions in that period? Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4? 1, 3, or 4. What are you going for, Chris?
3.
He slots it away, which means both Manny and Chris have top and tailed it.
I have to say, I think me and Chris had the best questions there.
Well, that's the way. This is why I give you the opportunity.
We did, but I was so confused about all the other questions and not having a clue. I lost all sense of reality for a while.
Well, Chris, you do often lose sense of reality, but that's fair comment. Anyway, it's back to Manny for your second pen.
Yeah.
After winning the second division for the first... Oh, no, we've done that one, haven't we? Have we done that one?
I'll still get it wrong.
During the same period, how many seasons did they spend in the second division? Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Which period?
During the same period, which is the 52 years where they spent the majority of the time in the top division, winning their titles, how many seasons did they spend in the second division? Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
4 out of 52 doesn't seem a lot. I would doubt it was only 1. So, man, I know they were in the top flight a lot. But
1, 2, 3, or 4?
Total guess 3. Probably 2.
It's not either. It is actually 4. So you've actually gone the same way.
This was there.
You've gone the same way, but the keeper's read it this time and got down and saved it, tipped it round the post. It's a good save from the keeper, to be honest. He wasn't fooled. Right. So next up, again, is Hoops. Your chance to draw level. During the same period, in which season were Wolves champions of the second division for the second time? Was it 1965-66, 66-67, 76-77, or 82-83 season?
So it's obviously first division in the 50s a lot. So it's just how long out of that. Was the second one 66, 67?
The second one was 66, 67.
I'll go with that, Dave. I'm not sure.
You've skied it. You've literally skied it way over the bar. You're 10 years out. It is 76, 77.
66 was when we won the World Cup and Ron Flowers in the World Cup team. So we'd have known that a Wolves player would have been in the World Cup in the second division. That was the only one I pretty much knew. Yeah.
So, Lewis, your chance to draw level with Manny. After 3 relegations in as many seasons in the 1980s, in which season did Wolves become champions of the 4th division for the first time? Was it 1984-85 season, 85-86 season, 86-87 season, or the 87-88 season?
What are the date ranges, Dave? I can't.
84 to 85, 85 to 86, 86 to 87, or 87 to 88.
Right. I'm going to go 86 to 87.
That's a really good effort, but you've hit the crossbar. It's 87
the last one
to 88, which is the last one. This is turning into like the penalty shootout South Africa were in the other day. It was 2-1 or something in the penalty shootout. Anyway, so Sutty, you're up next, aren't you? Is it you next, Sutty? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wolves were champions of the 3rd division for the second time in 88-89. How many seasons did they then spend in the second tier of English football before finally gaining promotion to the Premier League, the top flight? Was it 10, 12, 14, or 16?
14.
You just told him.
You're going 14. That is the correct answer, and you've basically blasted. You've done it. You've blasted it down the middle. Who shouted it out?
No one shouted it out, but you said they were champions in '89. Obviously, we know when they came back up.
Yeah.
So as long as you're as good at maths,
You're going to work it. You're going to work it out. Absolutely. So, Sutty, you've put your second penalty, so that
Well
draws
done,
you
well
level with Manny. So, Chris, you need to score this to go equal first.
right? Better
If
be
you're
a
not,
stinker,
you're
David.
going to be
Better be a
voicing your
stinker.
death.
No, I need to win, score it to go in the lead.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. You
We
do.
need a stinker. We need a
First penalty.
stinker.
In which season were Wolves promoted to the Premier League for the first time? Was it 2001-02? Was it
No.
2002-03?
He gave in that.
2003-04? Or was
Oh
it
my God.
2004-05?
You know what? Envelopes have
Dave,
been changed.
Dave,
No,
you ask me a different
envelopes.
question.
Go on, what is it?
No, ask me a different question. Because it's
Dazzling,
you
Dave,
work it out.
Proctors.
You're going to, okay. The next question on the list then is, who was the Wolves manager when they were promoted to the Premier League for the first time?
No.
You want that one as well?
Well, we'll be here all night, won't we? Because the
I'll
nearer
put
they
you down
get,
to falling.
Dave Jones, I've done it once, I'll carry on.
Yeah. You deserve it now, mate. You gotta
There
give him that.
There you go. What can I say? Right. So that is back to Manny. So Chris is on 2 out of 1. Everyone, Manny's
I'll
on
have
1
that
out of
bloody
1.
playoff final one.
Which is on 1 out of 1. Hoops, how many are you on?
I have 0.
He's on 0.
That
He
is
just
right,
needs,
too.
he needs us to miss.
And Lewis.
He's
out
out,
of 2.
doesn't he, now? But
Right.
consolation.
Manny, how many years had Wolves been at the top flight of English football before they were promoted to the Premier League for the first time? Was
19
it
years and so many days and so many seconds and so many minutes. And so
Are you going 19?
Yeah.
That is the correct answer. 19. So you're doing well. After being promoted to the Premier League, Sutty, Wolves have. Is that right? Sutty's next.
No.
I'm out. So, yeah.
Who's next? Who's next? You get consolation. Okay. After being promoted to the Premier League for the first time, how many seasons did Wolves remain there before being relegated? Hoops. Was it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
We got relegated in the 3rd season, didn't we?
Are you going 3?
Yeah. I know it was
No.
2nd, wasn't it?
It was 1. We were in 1 season. So we remained in
We didn't like it, did we? So we came back
So we
down.
came back down. So yeah, so you've got
bloody hell, I'm thinking of the McCarthy era.
Fine.
So yeah, okay.
you've
I've had a
next
shocker.
time we just have Howler on because I think he'll do better than you.
I know. I've had a shocker. Move on.
Okay, so Lewis, how many are you on at the moment?
0, Dave.
Yeah, but you've done well previous weeks. But okay. So under Mick McCarthy, Wolves won the championship in 2008-09 and were promoted to Premier League for the 2nd time. Who was the top scorer that season? Was it Kevin
In the
Doyle,
championship, yeah.
Kevin Doyle, Michael Kitely, Chris Umalomo, or Sylvan Eastbanks-Blake? They won the championship, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go Sylvan Ebanks-Blake, Dave.
Absolutely smacked it down the middle. Wonderful. That's correct. So you
That's
finished
with the wooden spoon there.
on 1 out of 3.
Confirmed.
So Sutty, what you on at the moment?
1.
So you've got a chance to get the silver medal potentially.
He can equalise with me, and then we need Chris to get his wrong. That'll be sudden death.
You're on 2 out of 3, aren't you, Manny?
I've got 2. If Keith gets this right, he'll be on 2. And then
That's right. Yeah,
if Chris gets his wrong, then 3 of us will be on 2.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Good
So
job, somebody's keeping the bloody score.
I know. Yeah, after being promoted to the Premier League for the 2nd time, we've done that one. Nuno's first season as manager, who Wolves won the championship in the 2017-18 season and promoted to the Premier League for the third time. How many points did they win the championship with? Was it 90, 95, 99, or 100?
99.
And they should have got to 100 because they flipped it up again. Was it Sunderland?
Sunderland, they were all drunk, weren't they?
Yeah. So Sooty, you've tied it. So Chris,
Is this for the win?
I am a bit worried about the pressure of this, Dave. So if I get this wrong and you ask anyone,
Mate, I'll tell you what, if it's a similar to what
who
you've
scored a
given,
hat trick against Chelsea away, because it's moving on. Carry on.
Right. So here we go. What is Kenny Jackett's full name? Is it Kenny Jackett, Kenneth Jackett, Kenneth John Jackett, or Kenneth Francis Jackett?
Now fire.
Kenny Jackett.
I'm going to go with the hunch. It's Kenneth Francis Jackett.
Ooh.
You're going with Kenneth Francis Jackett?
Yeah.
Beg your pardon. Chris has won the quiz.
Oh,
The penalty shootout. He's back at the top of the
How
leaderboard.
is it you got that bloody right? You know what? That Dave Jones question, Keith. We need to have a bloody.
Yeah, I made up for it that last one,
It's
man.
Steward's inquiry there, man. Steward's inquiry.
Well, it's how the luck of the draw goes. Guys, thank you ever so much, all of you.
He's the one who had how many clubs founded the bloody Football League.
I know, but it's the luck of the draw. The luck you've become the champion this week. You've got your mojo back, Chris. Well done. After a few weeks in the wilderness, he's back at the top of the leaderboard.
Well, 1 week I let Lewis win the other week, but we will.
Yeah, right. Okay. Right. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys, in the chat for support. If you're watching this back on catch up, please smash a like, subscribe. If you're listening to it on the podcast, give us a rating on the podcast, leave us a 5-star rating. And until the next one, from all of us here to all of you, lots of love to you and your families. Just a reminder, before we go, actually, I'm just going to put it in the chat again for everyone. You can donate to Manny's fundraising in the chat, the link, put it up on the screen there. 3 weeks, he's going to be on his way. Let's do your best to support him, and we'll cover it more as we go through the next few weeks. But until then, from all of us, always Wolves.
See you, lads.
See you later.